This is Truckee B47 from the Ranger Command Power Hour, and you are listening to the Four-Eyed Radio Network. Ranger Command is now on Patreon. Become a patron by pledging as much or as little as you like every month and receive cool perks. By pledging, you are helping us make our show even better. Go to patreon.com/rangercommandph to learn more. Thanks.
Hey there, Eric here from Socially Awkward Studios, and this Four-Eyed Radio presentation is being proudly brought to you by Raven Designs, illustration and design that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, visit ravencruise.com.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Appropriately Inappropriate. Thank you for coming back and listening. We hope you enjoyed last week, and we hope you enjoyed this week. We got a fun one for you. My name is Kevin Elliott. Sitting across from me is Nancy Garrigus, and our guest this week is funny comedian Matt Micheletti. How you doing, Matty?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm all right. Thanks for asking. So, first of all, follow me on Twitter, at Kevin_Elliott. Follow Nancy on Instagram.
At Garrigus.
Good girl. And follow Matty. Where can everybody find you? Promote away.
They can find me on Twitter and Facebook at onmattalon. That's ONMATTALON.
What is that for?
Mattalon was actually a story I wrote in kindergarten, believe it or not. Yeah, and it was about a fictional planet where I could go and live and tell everybody to fuck off and eat macaroni and cheese like all day long.
When you were in kindergarten?
Yeah, I was basically like, you know what, I don't like this world, so I'm just going to create my own planet as a 6-year-old and eat mac and cheese all day long.
Fuck off. I'm going to go eat mac and cheese. I'm 34 years old. I did that yesterday.
But on your own planet?
No, you don't get a cool planet like the Mormons do.
That's
or anything
true.
like that.
That's true, Nance.
I'm Mormon. Well,
Oh.
no,
Ish.
I'm not. I know
was.
Mormons that are related to me, so no. But there is no planet. Well, they think there is, so
Yeah.
it's a good start.
I'm sick. All right? I got sick last night. I'm sick today. And I'm pissed off at my son because he's the one that got me sick. I'm going to power through. Maddie, you were sick. Are you still?
No, I'm still a little congested, but the high dose of Sudafed has got me feeling okay.
Oh, yeah?
Today. Yeah.
Any medicine I take never works. I mean, antibiotics will work, but I mean, like Dayquil, stuff like that, never.
Because you're already asleep. Like, it's just...
No, that's NyQuil. Dayquil, you see the commercials, and it's like coughing, sniffling, sneezing, having the worst time of my life. They take Dayquil, it's like, I'm ready for this killer business meeting.
those commercials.
Dude, I've never felt like that.
I think the commercials are good, though. Have you seen the one where the guy's like huge in a tiny house? And
Yes.
Like to really be sick like that, you have to own a house coat, like a robe. Do you own one of those?
No.
You're not that sick.
My new favorite one is the dad. He opens the door and he's like, I got to take a sick day tomorrow. And it's his kid that he's talking to.
I love those commercials because they couldn't be more true.
Right? Yeah. You can't take a sick day.
Yeah.
But even, all right, here's a fucked up thing. My
If I
son's
could call
6.
in, I'm like, I'm on my own planet, eating mac and cheese. You're on your own today, 2-year-old. You can't come.
My son is 6 and he's sick. Like 36 hours of nonstop coughing.
Yeah.
Like literally nonstop to the point where it's annoying.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, shut your mouth. Keep it inside. I can't take the sound of it anymore. But he's still like, dude, let's go play football. Let's run around forever.
Kids, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a lot about kids, but when they're sick, they are prime evil.
Yeah.
Like, they're their worst self.
He fucks with me when I'm sleeping. He's like, dude, my dad was an asshole today a little bit. You know, took a toy away from me because I was acting up, but whatever. He's asleep now. I'm going to cough in his mouth until he wakes up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're the best. Thanks, son.
Are you listening, sweetheart? This is why we're never having kids. Never, ever, ever.
You're engaged.
I am, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's it, man.
Wait, did you and your lucky girl celebrate Valentine's Day?
We did quietly at home. Yeah, we're trying to save money for the wedding, so
smart.
We're doing quiet.
When
things.
is the wedding?
April of next year.
Oh, okay. So you got a while. How long have you been engaged for?
Since August of last year. So we've got a long engagement.
2014.
Is it going to be like a big wedding?
No, it's going to be right downtown, and we're going to have it at the gallery that I do shows and stuff at down there.
Talk about the shows now. We'll promote it, and then we'll get back to this engagement stuff. Because I've done your show once. It's so fun and so cool and different. let people know about it, what it is, the whole nine.
Comedy on Fire was originally created as a means to kind of bring the community together downtown, and it kind of started as a hybrid poetry comedy show. Like we've had Michael Turner was on the first show, and he's kind of known for his own style of comedy, but he started doing poetry at the end of his set, and everybody was kind of
On purpose?
Yeah,
That doesn't sound like the Michael Turner.
Surprise me.
Yeah, no.
Was it poetry or freestyle rapping?
It was kind of a mix. It was
Kind of got a sexiness to his voice.
Yeah.
He does.
It was like Detroit slam poetry, or
Yep.
Cleveland slam poetry,
Yeah.
like their own style out there. But no, it kind of grew from a poetry comedy thing, and I was like, all right, the poetry thing, that's overdone. Let's just focus on the comedy. And it's kind of grown into this crazy event. Every month, every final Friday, we've got 9 million comics that either can't get stage time or do get stage time, and we get some people from road dogs coming through from Los Angeles or Las Vegas that want a spot, and they just show up.
Cool.
So it's a real cool, really fun event. It's I always try to promote it as a comedy show, but it's also a house party at the same time because it's outdoors in a backyard. It's open air. You can drink. It's BYOB. There's the occasional weed smoking going on by some rascallion in the back row. But, it's a fun time. It's a good time. Yeah. Can't get that at any club in town,
It's a super fun show, and it's cool because it's different. It's outside, but Phoenix is so nice. It's like, dude,
Right
this is
now.
great being outside.
Yeah, the summers are tough. June and July are always tough.
Yeah, but even so, when I was there, the sound quality was even great. When you do a show outside, you still have that well, shit, it's outside. Are people even going to be paying attention? But they do. It's literally, it's weird to say. It is in the backyard, but it's set up like a comedy club, kind of, without the roof.
Yeah.
So it's badass. I mean, the show starts, everyone pays attention,
Yeah.
and just has a great time.
Yeah, we've got a really badass sound crew out there. The reason it sounds so good, man, we've got it looks like we just have that one mic on stage, but we've got 8 mics all over that stage, and we always record the events. I don't know if anybody's listened to them, but they're stored somewhere on a hard drive at the firehouse. So yeah.
What do you do when it rains? Just kidding.
When it rained, well, we actually last
doesn't
month
rain
it
here.
rained, and we moved it
Really?
inside. We moved it into the actual art
I
gallery.
wasn't being serious. It doesn't rain here.
I'm always like, oh, you're being serious? Okay, let's go with this. It's the white guy in me,
Do people live in that house?
Yeah, there's actually live-in resident artists that live there permanently. Yeah.
Weird.
So all the art inside the gallery is all produced by people that live there. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa. So do you know them?
Yeah.
I guess you would
Yeah.
have to if you're running a show in their backyard, but
Yeah. One of the guys that lives there, Ray, he's really cool. He's really cool,
is he the long-haired guy?
yeah, early 20s, long
Yeah,
hair. And he makes these incredible, orc dolls and, troll dolls, handmade and hand-painted, just so cool, man. The guy
Dude,
does
I
great
got
work.
it. Next time I'm there, I got to take a picture. I got a friend in LA who's a comic, but he's real into that stuff. So if I send it to him, he'll probably be on the next car ride out or flight, be like, dude, I'm going to check them all out. I'm going to buy them all. This is what I need right now in my life. Way nerdy, but way into that stuff,
Right,
dude.
right.
Comic booky and yeah.
I read an article recently. I want to say an article. It was just this stupid post on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I called it an article. It wasn't about all the toys. I don't know how old you are, but all the toys, a list of toys that were
Why don't you
popular.
ask him how old he is?
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, so they could have been. Let's
On
see.
the cusp.
Yeah, so there was a list of toys that were popular when we were kids, and they're
Right.
now worth so much money.
Yeah.
And they were Teddy Ruxpin.
Dude, how much is that worth?
No,
Unwrapped?
$100,
Or it's gotta still
I don't-
be in the box?
Well, how would any kid get that and not play with it? It's
Right.
so cool.
Yeah.
Is it? All it does is talk. It's hard. You can't even snuggle with it.
No, it was a tape player.
Yeah, the back of the cassette.
I
Right.
had one.
So you
They
throw
were
that
cool.
thing in the air and it
But
lands wrong
moon
and hits you in the
shoes
face.
Were one. I had moon shoes, Light Bright. That was one. Those were
The
cool.
light bright. Oh my god.
Yeah, those were cool toys. I don't know that my kids would get those.
I'm waiting for somebody to come out and get cancer from the light bright, just
Yeah.
from sitting handling these plastic colored
things.
bulbs and just I have
It's
hand
probably
cancer
happened.
now.
It's probably happened.
And cancer.
But the most-
I lost 8 fingers. hilarious, dude.
The light break took my digits away.
The most expensive one was a Pokemon card, and it was a Charizard first generation card, and it was valued at $5,000.
That's so stupid.
I know.
It's a piece of
My little
paper,
brother has
man.
one. I need to tell him right now that his
It's like
card's worth
that like
$5,000.
Honus Wagner baseball card.
We
from
had
back in
it.
the day.
But who
Dude,
is
don't
spending
bring that up to me. It's very sensitive.
$5,000
My dad and I
on
had
Pokemon
it, dude.
card.
No
Did
idea
you
where the
sell
fuck it is. No, we have no idea where any of it is.
Probably traded it to someone for something.
The Honus, it's like a lot of money.
Yeah.
Dude, no idea.
Yeah.
No clue.
Nah, he showed it to me when I was a kid, and we no idea where it went after
Your
that.
mom's holding it. She's not going to tell.
No
She's not gonna
way.
Say a word.
At this point, with how much it is, be like, yeah, we're fucking. You can
How
pay
much
us
is
now.
it worth?
I don't know. It's a lot. I'll look it up.
Look it up.
It's a lot.
But so the card that was worth the most was $5,000 for a Pokemon
Honus
card.
Wagner.
Who has $5,000 that likes Pokemon, whatever?
There's some weird South Korean kid out there that probably has the money. Yeah.
So I read that a few days ago. I was getting out of my car the other day, and I saw something on the ground. And you know what it was? It was a Pokemon card. It was Charizard,
Wow.
but it was from 2014, so it was probably worth nothing. And it had been run over by cars, so it's probably extra worth nothing. Like, I probably owe Pokemon just for picking it up.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was kind of like fate. Like, maybe buy a lottery ticket. I don't know. So,
It's got tire treads on it. It means the attack is faster. Right.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
$2.1 million.
And you're sitting here with me.
That's what it sold at an auction.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for
But that's
your
like,
loss.
hold on, we couldn't have had the one. I mean, there's like the one that's that much. We must have had a copy or something.
No, you probably had the first one.
No, there's no way.
They're like, there's one that's been missing. It's $10 million. This is
Dude,
$10 million.
if that was the
Second
legit one, my dad would sneak into that house that we lived in.
It's worth it.
See it on the news. Yeah.
Man breaks in the house to steal back memorabilia. Not O.J. Simpson.
Not O.J. Simpson, right? Yeah.
But that poor guy, like, in O.J. Simpson's defense, wasn't he stealing back his own memorabilia?
Yeah, yeah.
And then what do you do from there? Like, sign it again
I
and
don't know.
sell it for double the
Athletes
price?
are dumb as fuck.
You think?
You make all this money, and I get it. You're not. Most of them don't come from money, so when
didn't
you
minor
get
in
it,
accounting.
you're like, holy shit, now I'm going to make good with my life, and you don't live within your means. But, dude, over the course of your career, you shouldn't go broke.
And everyone else's career, like, quit making the same mistakes.
So
I
many
do get-
failed restaurants. So many failed
Chicken
restaurants.
franchises. It's chicken franchises.
It's like, yo,
yes.
you guys ever heard of this before? I'm going to open a chicken wing restaurant in Dallas. It's going to be gangbusters. No, Des Bryant. No, it's not. No.
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
franchise.
But it just baffles me. It's like, first of all, okay, I understand both sides. So to play devil's advocate, I get that you can't trust everybody. So you can't just go to an accountant and be like, look, I don't know how to manage all this money. They'd be like, perfect, I do. What we'll do is take $1 million every paycheck and put it
Just
into
in
this
case.
savings account. It's mine. And then what we'll do with the rest of
I'm
your
going
money.
to hold it for you.
Yeah. So I get that. And I also get the guys that make like, it's so shitty and weird to say. If you make like $250,000, $400,000 a year, I do understand how they can go broke.
Trying to keep up with the
Because
millionaire.
first of all, you sign that contract that says $400,000, cut half of that off now, and take the 10%, give it to your agent. It's like you're not coming home with what you've signed for. But God, man, these guys that make at least $1 million a year,
no
live
excuse.
within your means, man. You'll still live great.
Live within my means. You'll do
Right?
great. You'll save tons.
God, buy a house that's manageably livable. Like you don't have to
Right.
buy a mansion.
Heated driveway. You don't need that shit. Like,
Heated driveway.
you just push a button on your smartphone from the office.
Is
It's
that a
like
thing? I wonder if that's a thing.
Oh my
Bill
God.
Gates has that at his mansion in
No.
Washington. Yeah, yeah. It's a heated driveway. You can push
Oh,
the
but
button from
it
like
probably-
the Microsoft office and be like, "Meh, no ice."
Oh my God. Bill
But
Gates
he
has to
doesn't
have
drive
everything.
anyways.
No,
right,
no.
Though? I would just helicopter in. To
He's
the
just looking
grocery
out for his
store, it
yeah.
wouldn't
He's looking
matter.
out for his driver. He doesn't want to pay
Yeah.
the medical bills. You know?
See, because he's
How
gonna
much
get
does his
sued. That
driver
makes
make?
sense. A lot.
Right?
Yeah, probably a lot.
Like, because his driver, he goes to a country club. They're like,
But-
are you a member? He's like, I make more than any of you. What do you do? I drive Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I make $30 million
But,
a year.
first thing I thought of, okay, so his driveway's heated, so it's easy to go get groceries. That man doesn't get his own groceries.
No.
He
His
has a
assistant
daughter,
doesn't
right?
get his own groceries.
I have no idea. He's probably kept it a secret so like the Mexican cartels don't steal her or something like
shit.
that, dude.
or anybody.
does.
Yeah.
I think he does have a daughter. Could you imagine faking loving her for so
I was going to
long?
say, you should date her.
That would be the greatest lesbian couple of all time. Would be his daughter and what's her name, Clinton's daughter, if they just paired up.
Hillary,
Oh, yeah.
Hillary, Chelsea
Chelsea
Rodham.
Clinton.
Chelsea, yeah, that's what it is.
Rodham
Hillary.
Clinton.
I named the wife. Yeah, Hillary,
Can you
Stupid.
imagine if Bill Gates found out his daughter was like screwing around on Tinder or something? He'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, we didn't invent Tinder. What are you thinking? Wait till Microsoft comes out with that.
Date someone quality, but look at this guy. He's so
That guy's so
hot.
smart. But Maddie, you're a sports fan, right?
I am, yeah.
Explain this to me.
Okay.
You're a Green Bay Packers fan and an Oakland A's fan.
I am.
Do you just like green and yellow?
I get that question all the time. Okay, so
The
here's
shirt you're wearing, green
I
and
like
yellow.
your shirt.
It is
yeah,
a cool
yeah.
shirt.
Feeling so fly like a cheesehead. This was a $2 find at the Goodwill.
No
Yeah,
way.
Yeah.
Nice.
You should have
So,
picked
so
more.
here's the story. My family's from LA originally.
Where?
All over. I've lived in Thousand Oaks. I've lived in Tarzana. I've lived in Altadena. I've lived all over in all
Agora
over.
Hills? Brentwood?
No, not Brentwood.
that's
I'm
where
not that
we're
lucky.
from, sorry.
No heated driveways for the Micheletti family. No, like my parents, when they moved up to the Bay, right after they had me up to the Bay Area, and they like basically like cast off the Raiders. They were just like, you know what, screw the Raiders. We're tired of the Raiders like jumping ship 3 times in a row, you know. And so it was the Niners for a while. Our whole family was Niners fans, right? And I got this ticket through my school to this thing called the Breakfast of Champions with Wheaties, where basically you have breakfast and a sports star comes and talks, and then afterwards they sign autographs, right?
Yeah.
And so it was Steve Young, and I was like, dude, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to go get an autograph from Steve Young. And so like after like the keynote speaker, he gets done, and we're all eating breakfast, and everybody lines up to get an autograph, and Steve Young is just like, yo, peace, I'm out. And so from then on out, our whole family has been like, you know what, fuck the Niners. This was like 1992, like 93. This was a few months before like Favre took over or whatever, and I was like, you know what? I like the Packers. I'm young enough. I can make the choice now.
You just so at random.
Yeah, it was just a random choice. You know, I didn't go
so
to the
cool.
Chargers as a California kid. I didn't
Right.
do like a West Coast thing with, you know, the Seahawks or whatever. I was just like, I like the Packers now. And it's just kind of been that way since like 92.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So ever since, and I get that question so many times. They're like, dude, you lived in the Bay Area? Why aren't you a Raiders or Niners fan? It's like, all right. So
Here
back
we
in the
go.
day, you know? Yeah, but that's the story behind it. Yeah.
Man, I'm from LA too, so I was a Rams fan.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when they left, I was like, fuck this. Teams can leave cities.
Yeah, man.
Like, that's the worst. It's like ripping your heart out. Like, what? So I just don't have a favorite NFL team. I was like, fuck football, dude. This
Yeah.
is terrible.
Are you a hockey guy now?
No.
No. Okay. No.
No, you know what I've tried, and actually every year before the season starts, I'm like, all right, I'm going to actually watch the Coyotes games, and I'm going to become a Coyotes fan. But it's also at the same time a basketball, and I'm a huge basketball fan. That's my number one sport, basketball.
I can't watch
So,
basketball, man.
no?
No, dude. You know what? And it's the stupidest reason. It's the squeaking of the
Oh,
shoes.
the shoes?
All the time. It sounds like somebody is ripping a kitten in half. I
If
can't
you
concentrate
pay
on the game.
attention to it, you're right. There's no getting past it.
Yeah.
But I don't pay attention to it, so I don't even hear
Yeah,
it. But I can imagine, dude. Yeah, it's the worst.
But if I had to choose a basketball team, it'd probably be the Kings, just from where I grew up. So,
Yeah, not the Warriors. 'Cause
No,
they're
man.
so fun to watch right now.
They are now, man, and I love watching them. And I'd love to be like, yeah, I'm a Warriors fan, but I'm not going to be one of those bandwagon people. Like, I'll watch a Warriors game and root for them, but like, my heart is always going
It's
to be
going
in
to be the
Sacramento.
Kings.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, until they
fucking-
sell the team or whatever.
Yeah, right. They were so great, man. I used to root for them too when they would go up against the Lakers back in the early 2000s. Was it late 90s? Early 2000s when Kobe and Shaq would go up against the Kings with Weber and Bibby and Divac, whatever.
It's Czech or something.
Vlade
Who
Divac.
knows?
Vlade Divac. I've always called him the real name until now. I say it out loud. And the Kings would lose every time.
Yeah.
But God, their fans were so great. They were the loudest, most energetic fans ever. And every time I watch the game, I'm like, I want to be in that crowd so bad.
Arco Arena is a shithole too.
Well, Arco Arena
It's fucking
was, I think, I don't know. All right, one way is correct than from what I'm going to say. I don't know which one. Arco Arena and U.S. Airways Center, before it was U.S. Airways, it was America West Arena.
Right.
They're ripped off each other. They're exactly
really?
the same.
Huh.
And I don't remember which was first. I think Arco Arena was first. But then U.S. Airways did all the renovations. It looks totally different. Arco Arena stayed the same. And it is a pile of shit now.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Stadiums go to shit pretty quickly.
Yeah. Look at the A's stadium, man.
Oh, dude.
You're like ankle deep in poop every time you play there. It's awful.
How about, okay, so spring training's coming up, man. You excited?
Oh, dude, I'm pumped. I'm ready. Like, this is like the third year that me and my fiance have lived together in Phoenix. So she's a Giants fan. I'm an A's fan.
Oh, I'm a Dodgers fan. I hate your fiance.
No, I know. We're a house divided, man. And like when the Giants or the A's had their run last year, and then they just completely shit the bed like the last 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
I was just like, don't talk to me right now. And then the Giants went and did their thing, and I was just like, this is awful, you know?
Yeah. I root for the A's. One, because they're the American League, so it doesn't affect me really, being a Dodgers fan. But also, not necessarily because of Billy Ball, but the fact that they do not spend a ton of money, and they bring guys up and they make moves. Nancy, you're so intrigued.
Trying to be nice.
They make moves through the organization that help them in the future, man. I love that. Now I hate that the Dodgers just go buy everybody. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
But, dude, spring training, you go to games?
I do, yeah. We're going to go check out the A's games in the Cubs stadium now. They moved them over there. But, yeah, man, I'm excited to go over there and see that. I haven't been to the new Cubs stadium yet.
Yeah, me either.
On the Riverview or whatever it's called over there by...
It's done. I drove by it today.
Yeah, no,
really
it's
nice.
done, but we haven't gone inside for a game yet. But
Did they make it look like Wrigley Field at all? I know they have the sign outside that kind of looks like
I
the
think
Wrigley
they sell
Field sign.
old style, and that's about as close as they get. They're like, man, this is a Chicago beer.
Oh, man. Well, baseball is my second favorite sport. Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it, dude. I watch it all the time. So good luck to the A's, man. I mean, they got Barry Zito back, maybe, right? Minor league deal or something.
Minor league, yeah. Hopefully, man. When they traded him to the Giants, I was just like, God damn it.
He had one of the greatest curveballs of all time,
man. All time. Yeah.
That 12-6, dude, just dropped. It was incredible. Dude, back then they had Hudson, Mulder, and Zito.
The trio, man.
They had, Eric Chavez?
Yeah.
His son was on my son's Little League team.
No way,
He's
man.
fucking awesome.
Wow.
Dude, he's awesome. Like, it's ridiculous. And then you look, you're like, I get it. It's genes.
Yeah.
I look at my son, it's like, he's Jewish. That's why it doesn't exactly work out for you all the time. Like, his kid just fucks around, doesn't pay attention, steps up to plate, and he's like laughing. They're like, dude, the pitch is coming. It's machine pitch. He's like, oh, yeah, whatever, and just smashes it out to the outfield. Runs around the bases like it's a joke. Like, oh, cool. Sorry that we're taking up your time. But they take it real seriously, too, man. His mom and dad, they get mad, like, if he messes up.
Parents are the worst part of, like, youth sports.
Yeah, the dad is okay. The mom lost her shit one game, and she
Whoa.
never came back to another game.
She yells at her son for
She
being...
did that day.
For
She
messing
was
up?
so mad.
What?
He struck out, and she was like, we have a fucking batting cage in the backyard, and you sit there and fuck around. And
I love this woman.
Wow.
I think I like this girl. She sounds like she's doing it right.
Yeah,
My
I
kids
hadn't
walk
seen
all
her
over me,
again.
so I'm doing something wrong. Oh, I wanted to bring up the hoe that we saw, the girl.
Oh, dude, Maddie.
Okay.
Okay.
Woo. President's Day was on last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So kids have off from school, which is a nightmare to parents.
Right.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I feel like I'm being punished for something.
Dude, it's the worst.
Not only is it Monday, but then you're stuck with your kids all day.
With your kids all day.
And,
And
their
they
friends.
love having off of school.
I
So
had
it's
4
not
kids
like
that day.
It's
Wow.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, let's like sleep a little later.
No, they wake up earlier. They're excited. Let's get ready for this fun day.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I have to beg my kids to get out of bed every morning. When it's fun day, they're like, let's do this. I'm like, fuck, I'm so excited to sleep in, you assholes.
Time to crush up a little of that $5 babysitter Benadryl.
That's right.
$5 babysitter.
You look itchy. You look itchy, all of you.
God, that's so smart. I got to try that.
Yeah.
So I text Nance, and I was like, what are you doing today? Because I love my son. But I had spent 72 hours straight with just him and me. And if I do that with anybody, I'm like, dude, get this person away from me for a little bit. And so I was like, well, please, let's get our kids together so that I don't have to be around him for the whole time.
Right.
So Nance was like, all right, let's go to Cracker Jacks, right?
Yeah.
The amusement park thing.
Oh,
That's not an
yeah.
amusement park.
I
but,
have more kids, but they tend to entertain each other. I just have to
Right.
drive them places and hand them money.
The oldest one can supervise or whatever.
Or just fight, whatever, but entertain.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, I'm here to just, like, shell out money and give them rides and stuff.
So my son and I get there first, and we go over to ride the go-karts, and he's standing in line. And while we're waiting there in line, because first of all, President's Day, greatest day at Cracker Jacks ever for them. Mm-hmm. It was 1,000 kids at least.
Yeah, it was. You'd think it was like
dude.
opening day of like spring training, and it was just insane.
Dude, it was incredible.
You couldn't
but
just
the best
go
part,
spend your money. You had to wait in a really long line. You're like, no, I just need to buy this. You're like, yeah, get in that line. Sorry.
you look at the faces of every parent, and they all have
They're
the same
pissed.
look. Just like, this is the worst day of my life.
Made a huge mistake.
Yeah, but you're already like $100 in, so you don't want to just walk
Lord.
away.
Oh man.
So we're waiting in line at the go-karts, and this like little family of like 6 comes up, but they have 4 like little kids aged probably 6 to 10. All right, the 10-year-old girl. I think the nicest way to describe her is she was a whore. All right. She was wearing. I feel bad even describing it. I feel pedophilish to describe it.
I'll do it.
Thank
because she was okay. First of all, she's stringy blonde hair. So I mean, she's
Hold
just,
on. No, before we even get to that, I tell Nancy. When we meet up, I'm like,
I
dude,
hadn't
we
seen
were in
this
line
girl
at the
yet.
go-karts, and there was a whore in line.
He tells me, he's like, there's a whore. We weren't together at this point. I hadn't seen this girl.
Right.
So he didn't describe her one bit.
Right.
So I take my kids somewhere else, and we're waiting in some other line, just waiting. And that's where I got this sunburn. And this girl walks up in a stringy blonde hair and like a tiny little red like bra top with like legging stretch pants that are like really low and like some slutty sandals. And I was like, oh, this must be the whore. So I text Kevin. I was like, is she wearing a red shirt? He's like, yeah, that's her.
Oh my goodness.
It was like barely covering
anything,
her like new boobs, and like you could
buds.
see her like clit ring that was there.
It was
like,
gonna
ooh.
it was gonna be there,
Dude.
But
so
what I saw,
uncomfortable.
like the family, I'm not even gonna say in their defense. Shame on them for letting that daughter. She was like the star of their family. Like she was gonna bring this family places. You know?
Right.
She was
To
there.
San
You know what I
Fernando
thought-
Valley.
you know what
That's
I
where
thought
there
of her
Ellie
as?
Mae.
The in National
Lampoon's
Lampoon's Vegas
Vacation.
Vacation.
Dad
She's
says
the
I'm
cousin,
back.
like the girl
the
cousin.
slutty cousin.
Yes,
Yeah,
dude.
That's exactly what I
was
thought, but I
her.
couldn't remember her name.
Me either, but dude, that's
Cousin
her to a
someone.
T. And here's the fucked up
But
thing.
her family was that family too. Like she was the star. And
Oh,
if
yeah, for sure.
I have a 10-year-old, we have strict rules. Like no boots and shorts. Let me see those shorts. Like
Right.
there's rules.
Yeah, no, exactly.
If my daughter left the house like that, oh God, it wouldn't happen. I mean, I'm sure it will when she's older. Like kids are kids, but not
Right.
at 10.
Not
I buy
10.
the clothes. I dress them. I drive them places.
Right.
Like you don't get out of the house looking like that.
Here's what else made her a whore. Not only did she dress like it, she acted like it.
She did.
She
Was she like blowing a dude for pole position?
Yeah.
on
Pretty
the-
much, yeah.
on the-
She's
Yeah,
like,
they
how
didn't
do I
have to
get-
pay for a thing the whole day.
Yeah. She was in the front of every line.
She like you know how there's railings, whatever, to like get the line. There's like a rail on each side, not cocaine, but like an
Right,
actual
right.
rail. She would like kick a leg up and like kind of
back and
stretch,
forth.
and and the whole time in line, it was like I can't. Here's the gross thing.
No, because we haven't gotten there yet.
I'm not a pedophile. I'm not. Officers, I'm not. but I couldn't stop looking at her because I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Right.
Yeah, this is a family place.
So I was like, what the fuck? Am I not seeing this correctly? I kept looking, and I'm like, I have to look like the creepiest fucking guy in the world.
Well, her parents were with her, and like I said, you
Well,
can tell she was like going to be their
An
little
older
core
lady,
star.
and then like a 20-year-old
yeah,
dude
that's true.
was
They
with her.
probably owned her or something.
It was a weird, dude. It was so.
It was
so weird.
bizarre. And whatever. I've said enough. I've said too much.
So we saw a 10-year-old whore. You guys will see her in a few.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I lived right downtown. I'll cruise Van Buren
Yeah,
and be
Google
like,
anything with
dude,
an
that was the
image."
girl that Kevin told me about.
I was like, is she wearing a red
Have you been to
shirt?
Cracker Jacks on President's Day? Every year.
It's her biggest moneymaker.
Betty,
Burnout.
So
It's not the county fair.
you and your fiance, you don't want kids? Or you don't want kids? And
No, I joke about it just because I know that it pisses her off. But no, we both want kids.
Hey, how about you come to Cracker Jacks with us sometime?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, natural birth control, right?
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like
pricey.
there's at least 1 or 2 situations a week where we're both like, yeah, we don't want kids anymore.
Yeah, I see
Dude,
that, and I have
yeah.
kids.
I
And then-
look at
yeah.
my son and I'm like, I don't want you
That was a
anymore.
mistake, both of you.
And then we'll watch like a heartwarming movie together and be like, oh, it'd be so sweet to have kids. And then like 2 days later, we're like, no.
Yeah,
Here's
I know.
the thing. You'll go through a horrible day with your child, right? And there's great days, too, where you're like, dude, this is the greatest
I'm the
life ever.
luckiest person
But
ever.
there's horrible ones where they just aren't on key. So you go through this bullshit day. It's awful. You've yelled. You've been yelled at.
Thrown up
And then
on.
they fall asleep at night.
8:30.
They just pass out, fall
Yeah.
asleep. And you look at them, you're like, you're the cutest, most lovable thing I've ever seen in my life. I can't wait for you to wake up just to hug you and cuddle you.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest trip that you get,
Right.
where you're like, I fucking hate you. And then 2 seconds later, it's like, oh my God, I love you more than anything.
Right.
This is so weird.
Well, we are like, oh, we want to go out so bad without them. Let's just go out to dinner and get away from them and spend all this money on a babysitter. And all we do is talk about them. We're like, oh, let's go home.
Right.
Weird. I mean, not all the time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not fucked up like that. I get when they should be at home. But, typically we talk about them when they're not around.
Have
Yeah.
you talked about when you're going to have kids?
Well, I mean, we're both well, I'm already 30. She's 29. So, I mean, we kind of want to have them before we're 35, I would say.
That's great.
My
good.
dad was 42 when he had
No way.
Yeah, when my dad and my mom had me, so like they were both pretty old. So like I don't want to be that guy that's like 72 at his like daughter's high school graduation, like
What else are you going to be doing at 72? Maybe.
smoking opium, I hope. I don't know.
I hope that with that 10-year-old girl, she'll be around.
Are you an only child?
No, I have a younger brother. Yeah, 2
Oh,
years
wow.
younger than me.
Even
yeah.
younger.
Yeah.
I'll say 35
Very
is
cool.
a good age to have kids because just this year, I'm almost 35.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first year where people are like, want to go out? And there's not one part of me that wants to say yes. I'm like, no, you go ahead. So I'm thinking now would be a great time to have kids.
Exactly. Like we both want to do things, I'm doing the stand-up comedy thing, and it's just like if I decide that I want to go to LA and Barbie, that's her name, is behind me on it. Like if we have kids,
It'd be impossible.
it'd be impossible to be like, well, I'm going to do coffee shops for the rest of my
That's
life.
not
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
That's not true.
It's not true,
Well,
but
easier
it's
for
more.
you 'cause
Yeah.
you have split parenting.
No, it's harder for me.
No, it's got to be way harder with split parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't go to LA because
I
of
see
split
what you
parenting.
mean.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
I just think it's a time commitment thing, Like if I wanted to be gone, like we just got in a heated discussion, is how I'll put it, last night about like moving to LA, and it's like I can't imagine like coming home from both of us coming home from our day jobs and being like, well, see you later, and like
Yeah.
going out for like 4 or 5 hours a night to go do stand up across town. It's not going to happen, especially with a kid.
In your
Yeah.
opinion, to do comedy and do it, do you need to be in LA or can you make it happen here? Or if you're so good, like, does it matter? Do you need to be
I think it
someplace?
definitely matters. I think especially in Phoenix, I think the market for what I'll call upper tier comedians in Phoenix is so skewed. I've always thought that it's kind of like the Army Reserves here. Like
Okay.
somebody's going to have to die or retire before somebody else moves up. You know, it's like for like the last 2 years, there's been like 24 people that constantly host or feature or headline at the
24
clubs.
is a high ball, man.
And that's it.
You got it's lower than that.
It's lower than that.
Like 60.
But coming up now, there's more people like, oh, okay,
So
you can
think
start
more
featuring, you know.
better opportunities, not here.
Oh, yeah, there's way more. I think that Phoenix is kind of, like I said, it's skewed. But I think when you go to a city like L.A., comedy is so multifaceted now that there's way more opportunities in an entertainment city like that to really get your voice out there in whatever medium, you know, whether it's animation or voiceovers or straight up comedy.
Okay.
You're exactly right. In Phoenix is a great place to start.
It is. It's a jump off spot for sure. Yeah.
You get at least one mic a night, which is like, well, but I can go to LA and do 3. Well, not always.
Yeah, you got to pay and do 2 minutes.
Yeah. And
It's
then,
like, why?
or get in a lottery and hope that you get chosen.
Right.
But at least you're guaranteed one show a night where you'll get 5
So
to 7
practice
minutes.
here.
Yeah.
Right? So, work your stuff out here or at wherever city you're at. Besides, really, it's LA, New York. I mean, even Chicago, you get a lot of
stuff,
opportunities.
yeah.
But in Texas, Austin, it's a great comedy scene. You do get better opportunities than you would LA and New York. So what you said was great in that it's an entertainment city.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you can go do stand-up and you keep working on it, but at the same time you can get voiceover work, commercials.
It's different than like
Paying,
Vegas,
get
which
paid.
is also an entertainment city, but it's like a meat grinder. You just kind of get dropped in there,
Don't
and
you
it's
think
like
to
perform. You know, and it's different. It's way different. I think you know, just from living in California and being around that culture, there's way more to do out there.
What brought you to Phoenix?
I served in the military out here from 2004 to 2006. And then I moved back to California. That's when me and Barbie started dating. And then we broke up. And I moved back out here because all my family moved out here. It was like, why stay in California? I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So I was like, I came back out here. And then 2 years later, about 4 years ago, she was like, we still love each other. I was like, all right, yeah, I love you too. So let's do this thing again. So
That's good.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, I like to hear
that's
good love
good.
stories.
Yeah,
When it
that's got to
actually
be
works
so
out.
great
That's
for
a
the
good
relationship,
story.
right?
Yeah, I know it's made us way stronger. You know, we were so young when we first started dating. We lived in San Diego, and within like 2 weeks of me moving down there, I already had a place, but like I never stayed there. It was just like a storage spot for all my crap, and I was always at her house, and it was just like, we're both 20 years old. We're living together. We're in school. We have no money. This is not conducive to a healthy
You
relationship.
know what would help? A baby. I'm just kidding.
Right, yeah. Please stop taking the pill right now so we can stay in San Diego forever.
How did or when did comedy become a thing for you?
Performance-wise, it's only been about 3 years, man. I'm coming up on my 3-year next month. But comedy has been a part of my life ever since I was a kid. You know, my parents would play like old, like the Bing Crosby stuff and like, you know,
I love that,
just
man.
old stuff, man, like Steve Martin and Bill Cosby and Fireside Theater and stuff like that on vinyl. We just sit there and listen.
God, that's so cool.
But like my first real, like my own like comedy adventure was like I loved Weird Al as a kid. Like I listened to like nothing but Weird Al for like probably a good half a decade, like 5 years. Like
I used
liked
to
him.
listen to Fat.
yeah, dude. Like that was
Al
it.
had a new song
The
out
video,
that I thought
the
was
music
pretty funny.
video. Was so
Oh man, his videos are so great, man. And like nowadays when I tell people that, they're like, really, Weird Al? He kind of sucks.
Did you hear him do the White and Nerdy?
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good
Weird
one.
Al doesn't suck, dude. He's a fucking
I like
genius.
He's
Weird
a
Al.
genius, man. Like
he's
there's
great.
so much of the comedy you see now like online are like just copies of the things that he did 20 years ago in a bathroom stall with an
Yeah.
accordion and an 8-track, you know.
Hey, he's great.
Yeah, I
Do you
love him.
remember
Yeah.
Gallagher?
Oh yeah.
Is he-
Yeah, he's still around.
Watermelon
still
guy,
around.
right?
Yeah, he's still around in Vegas
remember
doing his
that
thing.
guy.
He's super racist now apparently.
He He wasn't before?
I have no idea. Like,
He probably was before, but
it was
now it's
hidden.
like,
He's older, and he's like, I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. I'm getting
Right.
paid.
Way racist, dude. Putting watermelon in front of black people
Right, and then
just beating the shit out of it. I
And
mean,
then
come
not
on.
letting them have any at all.
letting anyone have any.
What an
I think
asshole.
he's just a jerk.
So, all right. So I think it's so cool hearing that, dude. They played vinyl records of comedy, and we just sat
Yeah,
around and listened to it.
that's
To me, that's so organic and genuine to comedy that I become jealous of it because I'm like,
I still have them
We
in
had
my
to watch
house,
them on
man. Like, I still have all
VHS.
those vinyls chilling in my
Wow.
house. Like,
Cool.
I've got like 50 or 60 old comedy vinyls.
Records are making a comeback.
They are, yeah.
Record players, you can buy them new, like
Yeah.
Urban Outfitters and shit. Like, I
Would
almost
you listen
bought
to
one.
them? Would you laugh, or would you just kind of be like, "This is what we listen
Oh,
to"?
me and my brother would crack up jokes all
Yeah?
the time. Like, me and my brother, like, we love each other, but there's definitely, like, as we've grown older, we're like, yeah, we're different people. So, like, we tolerate each other, but, like, the deep down, like, every once in a while, we'll get that text that's like, hey, bro, let's have a drink. I miss you. And then we'll have a drink, and everything will be squashed. But, like, no, like, I honestly think if I could ever get him in a studio with me and just do like a podcast or something like that, it would be gold, because there were so many afternoons like after school where we would have to entertain ourselves, and it was just like me and my brother Daniel, and it was just some of the greatest times of my childhood was just like riffing with him as like a 13-year-old,
Dude, I bet it would be great, especially because I guess if you both are so different.
No, yeah. He's totally like a tatted up, like body mod, like
live here?
300-pound guy. Yeah, no, he's like a polar opposite of me. He's just exactly
get him
as
in,
tall.
you guys can do a together session with
Hey,
him.
why not? Yeah,
It'd
no,
be fun.
he's a good guy. He does audio engineering now here in the Valley, like wherever he
awesome.
can get a gig, and like he's a really, really solid guy. But like I love him to death, and I really look back on those experiences and be like, that's what made me who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all my siblings, we always loved comedy. We watched everything together. Like
Yeah.
you said, and our favorite one when we were kids was Bill Cosby as himself.
Yeah.
We still talk about it.
Yep.
It's something we all have in common. It's
Yeah.
just, every time anyone goes to the dentist, we're just like, the whole dentist thing.
Yeah.
And the toilet bowl thing. It's just
Exactly.
chocolate cake. It just never gets old for me.
No, never does.
And I just can't look at him as a rapist because he did that. Because of that video. I'm like, no, he's a good guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, ladies. I don't know.
No.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's terrible. I'm sure he raped tons of women, but that was a great bit that he did. That whole video as himself. Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
Bill
Yeah.
Cosby himself.
he has one
yeah.
that's called yeah.
Yeah, that was the best one. I thought
Yeah.
so.
Hey,
That's what.
That's
But
cool.
that for me was what when I was 5 years old, 6 years old when that came out.
Yeah.
That for me was it. I was like, I love comedy ever since that.
Yeah, that's the same way I've been. Yeah.
so tell us about then. You're growing up. You're into comedy.
Mm-hmm.
When do you and how old are you when you're like, I want to start giving it a shot?
I started with sketch comedy before I did stand up, and that was probably 4 years ago. I was actually it was me and my fiance's first trip downtown. We were just like, let's go downtown for First Friday. And so we did like the white nerdy thing and like printed up like the guidebook to like First Friday on
Comedy,
Roosevelt
yeah.
Row. Like, man, let's see what's going on down there.
Dude, I have a First Friday story, but you finish yours.
Like we get it's like 11:30. We're like, what's going on? And so we look, and like the only thing going on is First Friday Night Live at the Firehouse, and I'm still like doing sketch comedy with them. And like we went to the show, and afterwards we noticed at the back of the program for the show, they're like, if you'd like to audition, send us an email. And I was like, I'll do it. I'll send them an email. And like 2 months later, I got called back to do a second audition, and for 3.5 years, I've been doing sketch comedy, and this year is probably going to be my last season with them, just because I'm trying to focus more on stand-up than sketch.
Can you tell me what sketch comedy is?
Sketch comedy, like Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the show is basically a mirrored image of Saturday Night Live. So, like, we have an intro monologue with a guest host, and then we have 4 or 5 sketches, a
Is
band.
it hard not to laugh when you do it?
Yes.
Oh, you have a
Whenever I
band
watch-
too?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Saturday
we have
Night
bands
Live, I
every
always love to
month,
see if
man.
they're
Yeah,
laughing.
we have bands, and then this season, which is the final episode, is First Friday coming up. Is the last episode of the season. I've been doing the news desk for the last 8 months.
that's awesome.
So, yeah, I get to play a little Dennis Miller up there. It's been awesome. It's a good run, but like we were talking about earlier, Phoenix is a jump off spot. And I've seen so many people recycle out of here that are just like, I'm done. You know, with the sketch comedy, they don't even touch the stand-up, and they're just like gone. They go to Austin, Chicago, Miami, wherever.
Well, all right. So here's the thing. I might have said it on here too before. Wherever you're at and you're listening to this and you're doing stand-up comedy, this is what was told to me, and I believe in it because I've also done the LA comedy scene, and that's where I started. That's where I grew up, and that's where I did this whole thing. The rule of thumb really is whatever your home club is, perform there, right? And count how many times in a row you kill. And if you kill 10 times in a row, but by kill, meaning the people that have seen you now a bunch of times, so other comics, the club owner, reoccurring people that have seen you, come up to you and they say, dude, you killed again. That was incredible. Now you can go to LA and you'll succeed. Or you can go to New York and you'll succeed. Because the people that now are so used to your comedy and you tell you you're killing, dude, there's no stopping you in the next cities. You can tour the country and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Well,
So the rule of thumb. But I also understand people that get anxious. They're like, I got to get out of here. I got to go to LA.
I've seen
because
so many
you
of those
never
people
know.
in 2 years, man.
Right?
And they come back like 3 months later, like, what was I thinking? You know? It's like, well, you're working at Waffle House again on University and the 101.
So, all right. So First Friday is this cool thing downtown that I knew nothing about ever. I don't venture downtown very often. I would go to Suns games. But a comic was performing a stand-up live that I was friends with. I still am friends with. And did a show, invited us out. We went to the show, and then we had nothing to do. So someone was like, dude, let's go First Friday. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So it's like this cool, it was really cool. It's like this art, like, you explain it. You know it way better than me. I've only been there once.
Every type of art.
Yeah, it's a very multi-medium, like art walk, I guess is the best way to put it. But it's become a little bit more, I guess, gentrified in the last year or so. Like they put up that new Roosevelt Point building right on 3rd Street in Roosevelt, which is basically like a de facto dorm, but it's not a dorm, but it's filled with ASU downtown kids, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on right now. There's a lot of historic buildings down there that are getting demolished in the next like 6 months to make room.
No.
Yeah, there's one right next to the firehouse that's getting demolished to make room for a senior's home. And it's like you're 70 and you're going to be at least.
You can't even drive down there.
Oh,
like,
man.
It's terrible. I
even,
can't drive down there.
I live 2 blocks from Roosevelt, and like just walking down there sometimes it's like you're just in this hot topic army of like 16 to 18-year-old kids that are like, I just got to be home by midnight. My mom said it was cool, you know, and it's like, I don't even want to live here right now. Go home.
No place for a senior center.
Yeah, go back to Sunny Slope, you know. Just No, it's become very exclusive, I guess, through the means of it, like growing up and getting a little bit more money down there now. There's more people trying to invest and turn these historic buildings into, you know, Urban Outfitters and stuff like that.
That's shitty, man. Yeah. I mean, our downtown does kind of suck compared to other major cities.
Oh, by far, yeah.
But it's getting better.
It's getting better. Like 5 years ago, it was a wasteland down there. Yeah.
Nobody ever goes down there.
It was dangerous.
Yeah, it was very dangerous.
Now it's happening. I went there a few weeks ago. I had a really good time.
Yeah. Okay, so this First Friday thing, like, whatever, it's art, it's this, that, you just walk around. It's like, fuck it, man, we got nothing to do. Let's check it out. So we go. As we're walking, we hear somebody telling jokes. To this day, I still have no idea who the fuck it is. We look over, and you can barely see somebody standing over the fence telling jokes. So, like, dude, what house is this? Let's go. And, like, my friend is he's a major headliner. I mean, he tours the country.
Still
the whole thing. Yeah, he is still alive. So we're like, dude, let's go. We'll fucking do a spot. This will be great. It's so much fun in this like weird little place. And we get there. The show ended like the second we start walking there. I don't know if they're bringing somebody else up. I have no idea. We get to the place, and I don't know what it's called. The Firehouse, maybe. First Friday shows. I don't know. It's like a bookstore.
Oh, Lawn Gnome, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So we get there, we walk in, we're like, hey, is there a comedy show? Like, yeah, it just ended. And we're like, are people still back there? 'Cause, like, can we get up and do, like, a quick spot? And they're like, nah, man, we're out. I was like, fuck, this sucks, dude. We totally got there, like, literally 2 minutes late.
Yeah.
But, man, I was so interested. I'm like, wow, they have comedy
been
shows
back?
in this? No.
Oh my
Lawn
God,
Gnome is
let
a
me know
cool
next time you-
spot. Lawn Gnome, they do a lot of shows. That was actually the first spot I ever did stand-up comedy, was at
I want to get into that.
Fire Stage at Lawn Gnome before it moved back to the Firehouse. Yeah.
So, all right. So you start with sketch comedy.
Yeah.
And then what tells you I got to move on and do stand-up?
Dude, honestly, I was heavily involved in the writer's room, like writing sketches and gags and stuff like that for First Friday Night Live, and I really felt that my voice wasn't being heard because
It was called First Friday Night Live.
It still is, yeah,
It's
yeah.
awesome. That's
FFNL, and yeah, man.
It's had like an anniversary last week.
Oh,
It's a 40th.
yeah, right, yeah. We'll get Eddie Murphy to come out to Roosevelt Row.
Why not?
He'll like roll down his limo window and be like, "Nope," you know, peel out back to Sky Harbor. But no, yeah, dude, like I don't know, like I loved doing the sketch comedy out there, but like just my voice wasn't being heard, and I was like, you know, why am I wasting like 10 hours a week coming to writers' meetings when none of my sketches are getting on? I'll just turn them into jokes. And that's
There,
how I
you've already
started
been
doing
writing.
stand-up. I was like, a week later, I went to Lawn Gnome and did my first set and started like suckling the teat of everybody that'd been doing comedy for more than like 3 years, trying to get a stage time. And, you know, now, like after doing it for a while, like you're probably the same. You get these new guys and new gals that come up to you like, when can I get booked? Like, where do I go? It's like, I don't know, man. Just do what I did and start fucking showing up, dude. And just go up wherever you can. Just do as much as possible.
There's not a science to it, really. I mean,
Yeah.
just get good.
Yeah.
And then it will happen.
Just go up as much as possible every night if you can.
All right, well, speaking of comedy, I saw a very special movie the other day.
Uh-huh.
It was a romantic comedy. It was 50 Shades of, oh my God, it was awful. I don't know if I had expectations of it being good, but I just had expectations of it being better.
You weren't one of the weird housewives they interviewed on Fox 10, were you? Like before they went in?
No, my interview
Okay.
didn't make it on the TV.
Okay. That was
Yeah,
the
I'm
most
definitely one of
awkward
those
5
weird
minutes of...
housewives.
Oh,
But I don't know what you're
see it.
talking about, so
It was weird.
tell me.
Dude, it was so bad, man. Like
What
it was
was
like
it?
8 of them at like some really like cheeky Mexican restaurant, and they're all sitting around the table eating like chips and salsa, you know, and they're all like, "What'd you think of the movie?" And they'd be like, "Well, it was okay.
It was
and
as bad as the book, I'll say
hopefully
that.
my husband can reap some benefit later." And it's
Well,
like,
I'll
you're
say
going to
that.
say that on the 10 o'clock news?
There
Like,
was a bunch of dudes there. I saw it during, okay, so the day it came out was Valentine's Day, so I didn't go. And then the next day was President's Day, so I
Right.
obviously didn't, my kids didn't want to see it. So the next day, still. So I saw it the next day, during the day. And there was a lot of husbands or just guys. I don't know who they
No
were.
husbands.
Yeah.
Creepers
well,
like me, waiting with a dozen roses outside.
Yeah. So I was disappointed because I knew it was going to be bad, and the book was terrible. All 3 books were terrible. I thought maybe
They could have been terrible, Nance. I know that you think they're terrible, and I don't know. I never read it. But, dude, it sold how many copies, and they made a movie?
But anyone who read that book, no one goes, oh my God, that book was amazing. Like the writing
What
wasn't
is it?
good.
I haven't read it. I
Okay,
don't really
it is-
know.
I
Do
will
you know,
explain it
Matt?
to you this.
I know
It is
barely.
Did
like
Barbie read it?
an
Oh, yeah.
X-
She did? All of them?
Well,
Yeah.
I would like it to be more X. It was an R version of Twilight. Basically, is the storyline.
Skinamax.
It is this dumpy girl and this billionaire
Yeah.
hot.
What do you mean,
sex-
dumpy girls? You're just like a...
Did you see Twilight? With,
No,
what's
I'm
her
an
name?
adult.
Remember
Kristen?
Can't Hardly Wait? Or like
I
those
love that
movies
movie.
from the late 90s where they try and convert like a nerdy girl into the hot girl?
Right.
She was the nerdy girl before she
Okay,
was the hot
but
girl.
they made this girl in this movie. They casted her to be or whatever. She's probably normal, but she's like almost special needs. They wanted like a dumb, clumsy girl, and this billionaire powerhouse falls in love
Right.
with her, and
Why?
it all
And
works
how-
out.
well, I guess
exactly why. First of all, would
Nah,
any
I mean,
of
it
that
could
work
happen.
out? It would not
It
happen.
could happen.
She played the role of almost special needs, just the like mouth open, bumping into shit, falling over, and this guy who flies his own helicopter, and
Right.
just is like the most
died?
accomplished human
it
being
Bill
on
Burr?
the planet. No, he's not that cool. But he is, his character is supposed to be the most accomplished man on the planet. And he's young, and he's gorgeous, and she's just this mouth breather, and he just can't get enough. I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
Just wait till she sees his heated driveways. If you know what I'm saying.
The things I'll do to you on
Yes.
this driveway. And she's like, all right. Oh, the girl, Charlize Theron, played Mr. X in, what's that show I like? Oh, fuck. Wish I could remember things. It's like
I
my
have no
favorite
idea.
show.
I have no idea.
It's your favorite show. You don't know what it's called.
Who's in it? Arrested Development. Arrested
Okay,
Development.
yeah, yeah,
Remember
yeah.
Mr. X?
Yeah.
He's dating Charlize Theron. He doesn't know she's mentally retarded.
Yeah.
She was better than
Yeah.
this character.
Really?
Yeah. She every time he'd say anything, she'd go, and her mouth's open, and she couldn't even spit out an answer. And this went on for 2 hours and 5 minutes.
You know what would be fun? Ari Shafir just did this this past week, where American Sniper, right? You saw it. I haven't
Great.
seen it. Did you
That
see
was
it?
incredible.
You liked it?
It was all right.
Yeah?
I mean, as a veteran, I'm just kind of like, meh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Entertaining.
So Ari hated it
Okay.
in that he's thought that the directing was horrible, the acting was pretty shitty. Nothing about the storyline and the real guy. He was like, dude, that's great. But the movie itself, the production was dog shit.
It was pretty. It was a pretty bad quality movie. The
I
story
enjoyed
is
it.
great, but like the movie itself is just kind of like dog shit. Like
Yeah.
he was saying. Yeah.
So I haven't seen it. But so Ari called for a heckle show to go to the theater. And just everybody show up, and regular people there to see it, and he's like, just heckle the fuck out of the movie. So when you see something that's bullshit, call it out.
Did they call out that baby?
Yes,
Fake
and he
ass
brought that
I
up.
know about that.
So-
And in the state of California, you're not allowed to use newborns in movies. That's why they just said, fuck it, let's use a fake baby.
I read that the baby that they were supposed to use, they had 2 live babies.
Yeah,
Like cats.
and they
Yeah.
got sick or something.
One was sick and one couldn't make it, so they're like, man, let's throw the Teddy
Baby's
Ruxpin doll in
schedule
there.
is
Like,
just booked.
He brought up the baby,
But
and he said, dude, when you see the baby, it's fake. It's like, you gotta be
It is.
fucking kidding me.
It is a fake baby, but
Okay, you
I read
can't
something
get
saying that you
a
can't.
family-
Eastwood can't get a real baby
Yeah.
on set? Like, I'm Clint Eastwood. Can I borrow your
But
kid
then
for
it's
5
for
not
minutes?
about the baby.
$10,000,
How much do you really need a real baby? It's like, oh my god, that baby's fake. Like, how
know,
much does
like-
that really take away from the story? Not at all.
I think it's a huge part of the
The
story.
fake baby
though.
had one scene. That's
Yeah.
it. It had one scene. The rest of the kids were real.
But the child birthing or child rearing part of that movie was such a huge part of that movie. Like, oh, I'm calling home. How's my little boy? How do you know
Fake.
it's a boy?
He's
Because I
plastic.
know.
Aw,
It's
that's
plastic.
And then,
cute.
like an hour and a half later, they have a baby and he's holding him and he's
Fake. He was
crazy.
Weird
majorly
plastic baby.
disappointed. No wonder he didn't want to come home. This is your son.
So I'm interested to hear how it went. How many people
Liked
got
it.
kicked out of the theater?
I saw it opening day, so it was just like old vets.
Old veterans.
Old vets
Yeah.
and their wives. And, it was like some of them were crying. Like, I don't know.
I saw the what was that one? The Mel Gibson Christ movie, Passion.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Oh,
Christ.
God, that was awful.
I saw that in the theater because I had a day off when I was serving down in Tucson, and I was just like, I went to the theater. It was the only thing playing when I showed up, and it was literally the weirdest experience I've ever had
Yeah.
in the theater.
I
Everybody,
had-
everybody was
It
crying.
was bizarre. I had to see it. One of my professors
Someone died
made
watching
me-
the movie.
Oh yeah, they
A
had a heart
professor
attack.
made my class, journalism class, write some paper on it, and
Right.
half the class is like, "I can't, religious, blah blah blah." She's like, "Fuck you, write your paper, fail
Yeah.
the class. I don't care." So I
Right.
saw it, and I think I saw it with my mom. And afterwards, she goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm not religious, and I'm fine. I don't, whatever."
So Maddie, as a veteran,
Yeah,
first, did you see Lone Survivor?
I did. Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
As much as I wanted to like that movie too, I was just kind of like, this is just like, it just felt like something that had already been done.
Okay. What about Fury?
I watched about half of it the other day, and
Do you like it?
I haven't gotten to the rest of it. I like what's his name?
Oh, he'd probably love 50 Shades of Grey. Just kidding.
Me?
Was Brad Pitt and Fury?
Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Yeah. It was. I liked that movie until Shia LaBeouf showed up. And I was just like, why is Shia LaBeouf in this movie? He cut his face for that movie. You guys read about that?
No.
He actually cut his face to give himself a real scar for that movie.
Don't tell me that. I like that.
You don't trust the makeup people to do it much better than a real
Right.
scar?
It's just fucking Shia LaBeouf, the guy that did that art exhibit, and that lady raped him in New York City or Los Angeles or wherever it was.
A lady raped him?
Yeah, they put him in a dark room,
And now
and they're
he's a
like, you
cutter?
can go do whatever you want once you get in the room. And so this lady fingered his butthole or something like that, and so they had to escort her out. Yeah.
What?
Now
Yeah.
he's a cutter.
Look it up. It's legit, dude. Somebody raped Shia LaBeouf in some
Wow.
art gallery somewhere.
So what branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Air Force.
I have friends that were in the Air Force. One that got totally screwed being sent to Iraq and Afghanistan. And let's just say he wasn't in the Air Force when he went over there. He got totally fucked over. But he's alive, so it's cool. Why did you choose, I guess, the Air Force over anything else?
Originally, I wanted to go in the Marines.
Dude, that's the badass one, right?
Right, yeah. No, I was a total nerd in high school. You've probably seen me do this bit.
I've heard you act, yeah.
Yeah, but I was a total nerd in high school. My dad was a Vietnam vet, and I was like, I'm going to go serve in the military because I had horrible grades. I'm not going to college. I'm not going to.
Was that the reason why?
Yeah, no, I had
It
horrible
was just,
grades.
I'm not going to go to community college.
No,
I'm just going to...
No, if I went to community college, I'd still be living in shithole Manteca, California with 4 kids and going to Catholic church on Sundays. And I was just like, I'm getting out of here as fast as possible.
Okay.
And my dad was like, no, you swam in high school. You're not going in the Marine.
His athletic prowess couldn't even cut it in the Navy.
So I went and I took the test, and at the time this was right after 9/11, and they were like, "You're whatever the test is called." They were like, "You can't go in the Army. You're too smart." And I was like, "Okay."
But you have terrible grades.
Yeah, no,
You're
I passed their
What does that
aptitude test.
say?
It's like the quarterback
Aptitude.
test,
The Wonderlick?
Yeah, the Wonderlick. You can play a complete dildo and still get a passing grade on that thing. And so the Army guy sent me over to the Air Force recruiter, and I was like, look, I want to jump out of airplanes and I want to shoot people. That's what I want to do. And they were like, okay, you can do weather. They have combat weather. You can jump out of planes. And I was like, all right, let's do that. And I never got the chance. I was just after 3.5 years, I was like, I'm done. I'm getting out of the Air Force.
Never even did...
No, dude, I sat behind a computer
So
screen.
they just bullshit you to get you in.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and then...
I lied to
told
them,
them
too.
you wanted to shoot people. So.
Yeah. They were probably like, you
kinda
should probably
crazy.
sit behind a computer.
Yeah, we probably don't trust
No
him.
way.
Yeah.
You don't.
Well, that's
you
all right,
can't just
though.
come in saying I want to shoot people. They have to find that out on their own.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I've heard.
That's what they did to my friend. He didn't say that. His job in the Air Force was to drive generals around.
Well, he should have been
God.
like, I want to shoot people, and they'd be like, you know what, we don't
No,
trust you.
that was his job. He's like, oh, you need to go to this part of the base? Cool, I'll drive you.
Yep.
That's his job.
An Uber.
Then he went to Iraq, and they're like, you're in the Army now.
Darn
You're the gunner in the front Humvee of the caravan. That's what he did.
Yeah.
And he killed a lot of people.
I never went overseas. I stayed in Tucson the entire time.
Oh God,
Worse than Iraq.
that's worse.
It's just as hot, and the weather never changes. I was
Yeah.
I was a weather forecaster in the Air Force.
What?
It's going to be 98 and blue outside.
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So wait, when you joined the Air Force or whatever, don't you get to pick, I guess, 3 places or something that you wanted to stay in?
Yeah, I picked Italy because my family's from there, and I picked Korea because I wanted to go overseas.
Dude, that's where my friends...
Yeah, it's like
Where-
Corey Kling, the
Oh,
comic
dude.
that used to live here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he used to live here, and he was in the Air Force, or still is in the Air
They have
Force.
so
but,
many Korea stories. Like,
my buddy
crazy.
went to Korea and got hit by a taxi the first night that he was there. Drunk as fuck, got nailed by a taxi. There's nothing to do over there but get drunk and eat kimchi. That's it.
Kimchi. What is kimchi? It's pickled something.
Pickled cabbage that they
Sauerkraut.
bury under the ground. Yeah.
It's sauerkraut,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, yeah, they were like, "You're going to Tucson." I was like, "Oh,
No.
Did you pick it?
no, no." I go to basic training in San Antonio, Texas. Then I get on a bus and go to Biloxi, Mississippi for my tech school. Yeah. And then they're like, "You're going to Tucson."
Were you like, can you check again? Like, is that a typo? Like, anything but Tucson.
Can I get above this parallel on
Sure
the
that's
map?
not Tuscany?
Yeah. What if it was, and they're like, Tucson. You were so close to Italy, you have no idea, just a typo away.
2 letters, a U and a Y, you know?
So
It was shorthand. You were actually supposed to go to Italy.
God.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. It's not funny.
So the second you can get out, you're like, dude, I'm out.
Yeah, I was
I'm not
I'm
re-upping
out.
this shit. I'm done.
Everybody I went to tech school and weather school and stationed with, like, there's 2 people that are still left in the Air
Really?
Force. Yeah.
Weather school, dude. It's so weird. Could you be a meteorologist?
No.
Damn it.
It's way different outside of the military.
You can still be it.
Okay.
It's way more mathematical. Like, you need, like, a PhD level, like, degree.
To read the news?
Yeah.
Meteorologist.
To be a real meteorologist, like work for the National Weather Service, you need like a PhD or like at least a master's level degree in really high level math.
Wow.
Math?
Yeah, a lot
Wow,
of math.
count me out.
So now you're a comic.
Yeah,
Yeah, this seems
yeah.
fitting. Not in Tucson.
I work on computers and I do stand-up comedy at night.
3 years of stand-up comedy.
Yep.
Where do you see this? It's like a job interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Not at all.
For us.
Not at all. But what I kind of like asking this question to people, and it's never, you really never know. But what's the end game for you?
I would love to write for a TV like comedy, whether it's sitcom or sketch or for network specials or award shows. You know, I would love to be a writer for that kind of thing. As far as like being like a headlining national name, you know, like I don't know, man. Like I think that's totally almost luck when it comes to that thing. I think there's a certain hustle and grind that comes with that, but I think after a certain point, it's like I think there's a lot of luck that goes into that. You know, you just being in the right place at the right time, knowing the right people, going to the right shows, doing the right things at the right places. I think you can get there on hard work. It's totally happened before. I think the precedent is there. But I think for the most part nowadays, with like I was saying, you know, comedy is so multifaceted. I think that you really have to kind of focus on one thing and kind of go for it.
Have you? I know you've written sketches. Have you written scripts, television show scripts?
No, I've never written a script or a screenplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What shows on TV right now is something that you look at that you're like, dude, I would love to write for that show?
Like the Kroll Show, Amy Schumer's show, Inside Amy Schumer. There's so many, man. Like,
those are sketch shows. Is there
Yeah.
anything sitcom-y that you look at? You're like, dude,
I don't really watch a lot of sitcoms anymore, man. Like, to be honest with you,
makes sense because they suck.
What
They
did
do.
you like?
What's that?
Before they sucked, what did you like?
As far as like sitcoms, I'm almost ashamed to say it, but I loved Dharma and Greg when I was
I
growing
did
up.
too.
Dude, everybody
I
I
loved
loved
Dharma
that
and
show
Greg.
growing up, man. Like Wings on USA,
Yeah.
like old school USA. I loved the crap out of Wings. But like Seinfeld was a huge part of my family's life growing up. We would watch that every night that it was on, you know, like not syndicated, but actually running new. And I was always following.
No Friends?
No, man.
I know you hate Friends. I know you do.
Big Bang Theory is one of my very favorite
Oh,
shows.
I can't stand that show because
Really?
my parents like it. I don't want to have anything.
My mom's the one who told me about it.
Yeah. Like, have you watched this show, The Big Bang Theory?
It's so funny.
They're so smart and funny, Matt. It's right up your alley. It's like, no, I can't.
Did you have you watched? What's it called? The IT show.
Oh, the Hit Crowd?
Yes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I love that show, man.
Yeah?
I didn't catch on to it till it was already like way past
Is it?
Like,
British.
yeah.
Okay,
it's
yeah, I've
British
seen that. It's
humor.
funny.
Like, Trailer Park Boys is
Oh, I
another one
love
that I
Trailer
love. I love them to death.
Cat Museum Park.
Oh my God.
The Cat Amusement Park.
Yeah,
It's funny.
I love them. Don't waste your money on the live show. Oh, it's awful.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's awful. We went to the one at the Orpheum like 2 years ago, and it was like watching an episode, but it was live, and every word was like the same. It was like, all right.
They're from Canada, right? It
Yeah,
takes place in
Nova
Canada.
Scotia,
It's
yeah.
pretty funny. You'd like it.
Have you ever watched Trailer Park Boys?
It's different.
I see it on Netflix.
It's
funny.
way different, man, but it's like, it's 3 dudes, and basically they're all felons, and they're all basically like growing weed, running illegal cat hotels in this trailer park, and they just grow weed and do all kinds of crazy
Drive
stuff.
drunk.
One of the dads lives in a fucking dump.
It's so funny though,
Brews
but
alcohol.
what's great is they're all just like the most white trash group
Yes.
of people. But they get together, they function normally. They have all these get-togethers, and it's just this little community that they all participate in. And there's barbecues and picnics,
Yeah.
and they're the most
J-Rock.
dysfunctional people. But they really they all have something to contribute to this
Yes.
little community. It's kind of cool. It looks like this like perfect environment too. Like the weather's always amazing. It's just like really like the most sunny, bright, happy little place you've ever seen.
But it's
a trailer
British?
park. No, it's Canadian.
Canadian,
Oh,
Nova
it is?
Which is
Scotia.
probably why
Oh,
they're
yeah,
all
I'm
really
sorry.
very nice. They're all
Yeah.
nice.
So it's French. I don't know.
Not French Canadian.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I always say, I don't really watch a whole lot of sitcoms.
But when I first watched that, I was like, this is the most different thing I've ever seen. It took me a few minutes to get into it, like a few episodes.
Yeah. But so, all right, so not a sitcom watcher.
Right.
More into the sketch comedy. First of all, Kroll Show and Amy Schumer Show, Inside Amy Schumer, are fucking great
They're
shows.
brilliant, yeah.
Right now, dude, you put that up against SNL, they blow SNL out of the water.
Absolutely.
Dude,
Yeah.
But again, they're also only doing
And they're on cable TV, that's the big difference.
Key and Peele too, yeah. The sketch shows, and they're only doing a half an hour show, you're filling 22 minutes worth of
Yeah.
sketch. It's a lot shorter. I have never thought SNL was funny. I don't
What?
know. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm sorry. There's been sketches that are, but
Great
a whole
songs
episode.
came out of SNL.
Dude,
Great
I've never
songs.
watched a whole episode of it and been like, dude, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Never. I never have. I'm sorry. But I'm not a sketch comedy guy. I've said that forever. So is that the route then? As far as writing for a show, if you could, is that the route you want to take?
Oh, yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't want to write for a sitcom. You don't like sitcoms.
I really don't.
But you
man.
don't want to change the game. You want to be like, I'm going to write a sitcom
I
that's
don't-
funny.
I
So
don't
you'll
know if
like
you could
it.
change the sitcom game, man. Like it's been the same since like All in the Family, pretty much. Like
It has.
There's a conflict. There's an opening scene. There's a conflict, and then at the 23-minute mark, everything's good again.
Right.
You know.
But you don't want to come up with that one sitcom that doesn't do that and try and sell it.
How else?
I don't know. Like, how would you sell that to a TV?
If I knew how,
Yeah,
what the fuck would we be doing it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel like I guess I could focus my energy on putting something out there that would be more productive than trying to be like the Einstein of sitcoms. You know, like sitcoms are come and go, but like sketch comedy, like even going back to like vaudeville, you know, which is basically live stage sketch comedy, like the original OG sketch comedy. It's been a very simple format, you know, 5 to 10 minutes, done. You're on to your next theme.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is great, too, for people, especially in today's age, where it's like, I got shit to do. How
Yeah.
much time can I spend watching something? Dude, you got 5 minutes? Laugh at this, then get the hell out of here. And
Exactly,
we'll
man.
right?
Yeah.
We'll catch the next people on the next sketch. Look, you're the first person I've talked to that's their focus, man. It's
No, really.
in the sketch
I'm sure a lot
comedy game.
of a lot of the stand-up comedians that you have on here are like, dude, I'm going to go to the Comedy Store and be a paid regular. It's like, all right, well, all right, I'll see you in 10 years. Like, let's check back up on there, man.
I won't say that's not true, but at the same time, their end game is still in stand-up. So,
No, yeah.
like for me,
I totally respect that.
I've played this game before. I've done things. There's a whole new different thing for me, right? So now all I want in this life is to be a stand-up. That's it. I don't want acting. I don't want writing. I want to be a stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So for the people that just want to do that, I'll never count them out. Because you're going to grind your ass off to make it, right?
Absolutely.
Especially if you're a younger dude and you don't have a child, and you don't have this other life of things that you have to do. It's responsibility, but it's also, look, I love being a parent. I love being a father. It's what I want to do my whole life. That's why I stopped doing comedy for the big chunk of change. People that want to do the writing thing, so like for you said, the end game would be cool. If I can write too, that'd be great. There's so many other avenues to take where you don't look at the Comedy Store or the Laugh Factory or the Improv as getting passed. You're like, if I can just do comedy and meet these people and get indoors and foot indoors and write this and write that, and then, dude, you just open up so many other windows and doors to get your foot into. It's a great venture, man, and I fucking hope you do it.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I hope I do too.
I know we got to wrap up, so Nance,
Yes, Kevin.
promote where you're going to be?
I'm going to be just around. You can follow me on my Instagram at @ngaragist, and I'll maybe post a new picture this week. It'll probably be of my dog. Because that's what I do.
God. Let's see. The shows with Brant Tobler probably will be next week. Finalizing the last bit of details for the Arizona stuff, so I'll let you guys know about that. But those cities will be Flagstaff, Goodyear, Phoenix, Flagstaff. So if you're in those cities or around there, get out there. It'll be in March, probably mid-March. So coming up quick, and then April 2nd through the 5th, I'm telling you guys, man, Stand Up Scottsdale that weekend. Come to every one of those shows. Me, Johnny LaQuasto, Grant Cotter. It's going to be probably the best comedy show you've ever seen, which is a lie, but it's going to be fucking great. And Johnny and Grant are going to be in the studio that week, so you'll hear them. You can hear from them for yourself. We're going to have a blast that whole weekend. Maddie, promote the hell away, man. You're so funny. I can't get that through to everybody else on this that listens to this podcast. Maddie is one of the best stand-ups in Phoenix, man. So
you can book me whenever, anybody. You can book me whenever.
You can just book him in your backyard.
Yeah. Let's see. Coming up, we've got the 2-year show for Comedy on Fire, which will be March 27th.
Am I on that?
Yeah, I think you are, actually.
I am.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, March 27th. Make sure you come out to Comedy on Fire
March
the week
27th.
before, April 2nd through 5th.
Yeah, March 27th, Firehouse Gallery, 1015 North 1st Street, Phoenix, Arizona. It's going to be a wild show. We're going to have like 35 comics on the show.
Whoa, that's how I got on it.
Yeah.
Everyone's welcome.
I asked everybody. I was like, I got 34 spots filled.
It's in Howard's backyard.
Let's hit up Elliot. Let's do this. But we're going to do like we did last year. We're going to have the big graffiti wall out. So if you want to come out and sign the wall and be a part of permanent history for Comedy on Fire, we take a picture of it. Last year's door frame that we used is saved in the back of the firehouse. It's not being repurposed for anything. So we just laid down fresh paint all over the gallery to make it look beautiful and gorgeous out there for the show. And then March 20th at Third Space on Grand Avenue, right across from Grand Avenue Pizza Co. We're doing Comedy Avengers, which is a benefit show, totally free. Every donation, dollar, cent that comes in is going to go right back to the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Phoenix.
Oh, awesome.
So,
guys, everybody, I know you come out for benefits. You're the best fans in the world. Go to that benefit. Is there something they could do online for people that don't live in Phoenix?
If you don't live in Phoenix, you can always hit me up on Matalon Comedy. That's Mattalon comedy @gmail.com. We're looking for people that either want to match the total amount or a percentage of the total take for the night that want to kind of give back to some kids that really need it out there.
Please do, guys. Everybody listening, please, please, please do that. And rewind 10 seconds to get that email again. Because, dude, it's all about helping people out, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Comedy is about making people feel good.
Hell yeah, it is. Perfect way to get out of here. Say it again and then we'll end.
Comedy is all about making people feel good.
This has been another proud production of the 4-Eyed Radio Network. You want to see more shows, go check out www.4eyedradio.com, you winkers.